All right, welcome back, guys, with some Quake classics. We've seen that some Quake 4 did really good, and today we're coming with another video, which is like the story how I been able to beat Tox, who was unbeatable at that time. It was 2007, and he was on a win streak of I think 10 tournaments or something like that. And we were playing the grand final in Louisville on WSVG 2007. And long story short, like, anyway, first of all, welcome Bruno again, back with me.
Good morning.
Uh,
It's gonna be a funny story.
yeah, because you probably never heard about this story, or you heard but not in details, right?
Yeah, I've heard there was something like some
Mm-hmm.
box, but I've never seen it and I've never been told the story in detail. And I was looking at stats and yeah, Tox had won 10 tournaments in a row before he
Yeah,
lost to you.
yeah, and I never speak about it really much. Like a lot of people ask me about it, and I really um, and I'm really sad that I never said anything about it because now after so many years, it's like what 18 years. I was preparing for this video a little bit, and I took a sneak peek on this picture of this pizza box, and I realized that I don't have a clue what was going on in that match, and I had to rewatch the match and remember like what was the story about. So anyway, I was like 15 or 16 back at the time, and I was playing really good in Quake 4. I was like always like around top or second place behind Tox. And then we were playing this grand final, and I think I was coming from winner bracket, or maybe no, that was the middle of the set, and I think the electricity went out, so we had a break. So they took us off the stage, and they were fixing some things on the stage, and that was during the grand final. And I
Hmm.
was sitting on the on the crowd, and I was 15, 16. I didn't really speak English too much. Like I was also like didn't know a lot of people, but I knew Cooler because like he was playing some show matches in Poland with me. I knew him from before, and we were friends, and etc. And he came up to me on the stage, and he said, okay, listen, you're not gonna win this match like this against Tox. Like Tox is unbeatable. You are really great. You have really good skills. Like your aim is perfect. Everything you're doing perfect. You just need to understand how to beat Tox in this game, and I can help you with that if you want. And I said, yeah, sure. Just like tell me what do you think about it. And he said, okay, it's a little bit more complicated. I just need a pen and I need some piece of paper. So we got him a pen, and I think the picture you see now is like it's Slasher who's holding this pizza box, and Slasher, I think that was the pizza of Slasher, and he gave us the pizza box where he could like write down everything. And that's the strategy for Frantic, because usually the match between us looked like I was winning like Tox was winning like Monsoon usually, and I was winning usually the placebo effect map. And then the third map was usually like, or like the second map was usually like the Frantic, which was like very even, and it usually went like in the favor of Tox, and basically that's how he was winning with me. Uh, so the strategy is for Frantic, and the main idea of this, because like I don't remember also exactly, but I think Cooler told me to make sure and put a lot of effort on controlling weapons instead of armors, which back then, nowadays it seems like quite logical, right? Because and it's like you are willing to do it, but imagine back then it was 18 years ago, and the timing of items like perfectly rotations were only invented and only few people were doing that. And now explain the young kid who's like perfect about timing, and he learned that from Cooler and like his idols, that he has to stop going for items against dogs because it's not gonna work, and then you need to go for weapons instead of that. But he also created the like the route, so you can see here like it's upper rocket, and he always wanted me to go through upper rocket through yellow armor, then straight away to LG, and then through red armor and rocket launcher. And then there was something like going to this yellow armor, like I would almost never go there, and I think that will be like every second rotation based by timings, because weapons were spawning I think 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then armor like obviously was like 25. We didn't have mega health, but we had like this like big HP bubble in the middle.
Yeah.
Uh, so anyway, here is the same upper rocket, yellow upper, and I was always going through LG, down rocket, red armor, and then eventually through this yellow, or like I was repeating the circle.
I
So
love.
basically, the game looked like Tox was never able to get the LG. That's first of
Mhm.
all. Second of all, he had a chance to go to upper rocket, but somehow he didn't really focus on that too much. And then when he was like on red armor, I would close him in that room because he didn't have access to this rocket. And if he wanted to escape, this rocket was spawning, and that was a perfect bait for me. And I was like usually or killing him there or like doing a lot of damage.
I
Basically,
love that
that's how I
he wrote
remember
it
it.
first. I love that he wrote it
Yeah.
first, like the route, and then he's like, okay, this I might as well just draw it instead, and then he did the drawing. What a perfect drawing! And it's if people like think about Tox and Cooler, and they're like, oh, why is Cooler? Why does Cooler think that he can beat Tox? And I was looking at results, and exactly 1 year before, in the previous WSVG, which had been the last time that Toxic actually lost the final, it was versus Cooler
Yeah.
in the WSVG in 2006.
Yeah.
So Cooler knew how to beat Tox.
Yeah, and then Tox dominance started. Like he completely like I don't know blow up and with his skill and everything. Um,
Yep.
and Cooler, I don't know. Cooler is like he was always extremely smart. I think a lot of things were invented by Cooler, like in Quake. For example,
Amazing games.
I'm quite sure like on DM6, the rocket jump from red armor to bridge, and then
Hmm.
going straight away for mega was like invented by Cooler basically. Or like for example on ZTN, getting the heavy or red armor, and then rocket jumping out of there to not get railed was also invented by Cooler. I think he made a lot of this like little like things which were like invented by him, and it ended up to be extremely good later on. In general, I think like I don't know. I think he was like one of the smartest guys like instead of in case of strategy and stuff like this. I mean just like this alone think like controlling weapons instead of armors back in 2007 like I think if you will put some Quake 4 Quake Champions players now back to Quake 3 or Quake Live where there's like bigger spawn like time, they wouldn't figure it out in fucking 2027 to be able to like control the weapon instead of armor.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Even back in Quake Live, the weapon respawn time was already very small. It was like 5 seconds. Only TDM players would really put more of a focus on weapons.
yeah, let alone like this item timings, like Mega Health was 35, Red Armor and Yellow Armors were 25. It wasn't possible back then to just run these circles, because like honestly in Quake Champions, you can win the match against a good player and you don't really need to time items.
Yeah,
Because you always know that mega is after heavy or something like that, you always know like and like now when I started to watch like some games from Quake 4 and Quake Live, I'm amazed how easy is to play Quake Champions compared to
it
those
is.
games. You hit everything with every single weapon. You just press mouse 1 and the bullet finds its way to the opponent somehow in Quake Champions. Like in Quake 4, if you hit in 30% LG, you are a god. And if you hit in 36, 38, you are Tox, basically. And
Yeah.
like, and like timing and everything is a completely different story.
It's a lot easier in Quake Champions. Quake Champions really lowered like the skill gap between like semi pros to pros by diluting item timing and by making aiming easier. Because in Quake Champions, you don't really need to time to the second, since like you said, every item is 30 seconds. As long as you know the rotation, it's fine. And in other games like Quake 4 and Quake Live, you really had to make sure you were timing to the second because of the offset of the mega health,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna play this match and we'll see. Like, maybe you will be able to figure out like what was exactly going on. But this is how I remember it. So focusing on like rocket launcher and NLG, and just look how this match went. Like we just played like previously, like the same day, and I basically lost this game. Like I lost Frantic, And now after like basically short
It's a
break,
box.
we playing again, and I don't know, and the game is completely different.
I do have a question before that.
Yeah.
What flavor was the pizza? This is important.
Probably pineapple.
Oh my god.
I don't know. I didn't have a chance to try it. We would have to ask somebody. Warm up. What a good thing back then. So here I hesitated a little bit in the beginning because I had a spawn where I didn't know what to do because like Tox was spawning on LG and I was supposed to like, you know, control it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is my route, like rocket launcher, LG, and controlling this rocket, see? So closing him here.
Baiting him there.
Yeah, and leaving him basically there.
That is very nice.
Yeah, so
Now
now
you go in right before the red spawns.
yeah, so he got the rocket launcher, but I have to control LG again. Because he will want to have it, because like he's the best LG player, and there's no rail on this map, so it's basically like, you know. And I'm
playing for weapons makes your opponent very uncomfortable, because like, he knows that the red's gonna be up, and it's like, he's waiting for you to go to the item, but you're just controlling the weapon.
Yeah. So I have like perfect timing like on this red and this LG. He still doesn't have LG.
That's great. You could see he just makes people very uncomfortable and they can't get weapons.
Yeah.
I like the LG pickup again, and now Toxjq is probably just
Yeah.
desperate once again because he wants to get.
Yeah. And like see,
another heavy.
yeah, I'm already winning 4-0, and like the previous map we played here, it's like, I don't know, it's completely something different, you know. I was losing the previous map.
And
But
look how
now-
easy it
Yeah,
looks.
it looks extremely easy. Like for me now, it looks like too easy somehow. See, he needs to go
This
here.
is the only because it's the only weapon available on the map.
Yep. And I just hold him in that room, basically.
It looks such a simple thing to do,
Yeah.
but no one would
See,
have thought of it.
again,
except
he has to
Fuller.
go for this rocket. You see, I don't care about items at all, almost. I just pick items on my way from like one weapon to another, you know?
Exactly. You go there if there's still a few seconds for the weapons to spawn, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so he has a rocket and heavy, but it's really hard to get out from here. Okay, now he has a good chance, but he still doesn't have LG, so if I keep the distance... Let's see what I'm gonna do after spawn, basically. Probably rush.
Now he has the weapon.
I'm probably gonna rush him down to the point where I kill him and I do the same shit again. That's what I think I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm gonna close him here.
Okay,
And-
good.
Basically get his LG and like, I again not gonna let him, like, you know, get the LG.
That's it. Now you should be able
Yeah.
to. I mean, you don't even need to go in, but if he
Yeah.
wants to get out, it's a kill.
Yeah,
And now the same thing, I guess.
yeah. And he's going for a rocket. Like, he completely was unaware of what's going on basically in this match. And we're talking, look, we are talking not about the tops from like Quake Champions. We're talking about the
This
tops
is Quake 4.
from Quake 4,
When-
where he was unbeatable and you barely were taking it. People were not taking maps from this guy. And I'm just like
This is the
destroying
guy
him.
that you won 10 lands in a row
Yep.
before this point, and this game just looks extremely simple.
It's-
It looks like a 2.5k elo versus someone with like 1700 elo.
And
Like,
look, it's almost 5 minutes into the game, and like he only has LG like second time in the game.
you know, this is one of the things that I love about Quake because there are so many ways to play Quake.
Yeah,
And as long as you're aware of your own strengths and your own weaknesses or your opponents, you can
Yeah.
come up with really weird strategies to make it work.
of course, you
Like,
just need to.
This is really good versus Toxjq. Maybe this wouldn't work versus Cooler because he's not as LG dependent
Yeah.
as Toxjq is. But versus Toxjq, this is such a perfect strategy.
Exactly. You just need to like figure out the strategy and be brave enough to like pull it off. Because you know, I was 15 or 16. My dream was to like win a Quake tournament and there was like prize pool, etc. And like somebody tells you to not go for item, just go for like the weapons, and you need to believe that and you need to try because you are willing to try to just like, you know, give yourself a chance to maybe win. But it's already 12 to 2.
Do you remember what's going through your mind while you're playing this?
Yeah, I remember that I was so much in the zone. I was, you know, like, I don't know how to explain you that exactly, but imagine like you are starting to
Hold
play.
on, I love this move. Like you spawn, you know the red is behind you.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know weapons are up, and so
Yeah.
you're just gonna get the weapons before you get
Yeah.
the red. This is exactly what Cooler was talking about, basically.
Yeah.
You're just following the plan perfectly.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah,
sorry.
this is what I wanted to do basically. Like, you know, Cooler was like my idol back then, so I really wanted to fulfill the strategy, and I didn't want to let him down. So I was like really focused of not doing what I want to do like usually. I was just focused on doing what I have to do, you know. So
Yeah.
I kept in mind like huge focus on weapons, LG and rocket launcher, and like closing him in this red armor room. See, now it's much harder for me already, because I went to the red, I took a lot of damage. Tox already has LG, so now
I was gonna say that. That's the first mistake that you've done so far.
Yeah, exactly. That's the first time where I like intentionally basically threw like this control.
You threw him a bone. Now let's see what he does with it.
Yeah. I think just opposite to Tox, I'm not gonna really feed as much as he would. Anyway, like back then I was extremely good at playing aggressive, so I was like good at just like feeding maybe 1 to 3 times and then like getting the whole control.
Great, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really good dodge. Your combat skills really saved you there, I think.
Yeah, yeah. See, he's ready for LG.
No LG for Toxic. Did the way that you look at Quake 4 or Quake overall change after this game? Because I would assume after winning this game, it would have been like a mini epiphany of sorts. Because you're like, wait, if I control the weapons, people can't hit me.
That's another funny story, because that was 2007. And after that, few months after that, I think, I was playing against Cooler in the SWC finals. Okay, it's second part.
I'll get the part, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I was playing after that tournament. I was playing against Cooler in the SWC finals, and we were playing Frantic. And you know what? Like one night before our final, because the final was like next day, I was thinking, the fuck I'm gonna do like on Frantic? Am I gonna go like with his strategy and try to do what I did against Tox? Or if I'm gonna try to like play my own game? And then you know what? I remember Cypher words. Like he told me something like, Cooler really likes to play against aggressive players, but he never played anyone with such aggression as you do, so you should play really aggressive against Cooler. That's what Cypher said me one time. And he said for everyone else in the scene, like anyone else against Cooler should play really slow and defensive, but you should play aggressive. And that was my mentality, like going in the final against him. I was trying to play really aggressive in my game, so I didn't actually use this strategy against him in front. And he didn't use that either against me. He also didn't try to control LG playing against me.
And did you win?
Yeah, I won that final.
Nice.
But yeah, so I think that strategy we used only against Tox basically.
Yeah, it's a player-specific strategy.
Yeah. And here, like, when it's already 20-4, I knew, like, I'm gonna win the whole thing, and, like, it was extremely... I was extremely glad, and I was super happy, like, winning this tournament, like, you know, beating Tox in final. That was something special for me. But you see how hard it is to aim, LG? Like, it's basically 20%, like, registering there.
I'm just amazed that Cooler invented a strategy and he just put it to perfect use. Just after looking at a piece of box drawing.
Yeah. But also, it wasn't so easy to implement it, because Cooler also couldn't pull off this strategy against Tox, you know? So somehow this strategy worked for me. I don't know.
Oh, there he is. He gets LG again.
Yep.
He's a comeback.
No.
Nah.
Yeah, he basically needs to try everything now.
Yeah.
He again has LG, I think he picked up the one he had.
Yeah, I had heard stuff about the pizza box, but I thought it was something a little bit way more minuscule, like
Yeah. No, that was a legit
goes-
strategy which like I implemented in the game and it gave me the win.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah.
And the fact that you even have the picture of the pizza box, that's
Yeah.
even more insane.
Yeah, I'm so glad that somebody took the picture and like it's saved somewhere on the internet. Like the quality is super bad, but you know, like at least we got the picture. Yep. I think Tox is already a little bit frustrated.
I mean, you're beating him by 20. The guy that literally just won 10 lands in a row.
Yeah.
With a strategy that was written on a pizza box. That is something.
Nice. He didn't even wait for that rocket previously, he just like went out of the room straight away.
What did Cooler tell you after this game?
I remember we had interviews after the game and somebody went to Cooler with, I think with microphone to interview him and ask about the strategy. And he asked, and the guy asked like super cool question because he asked him, what did you want more like before this final? Av3k to win or you wanted Tox to lose? And Cooler didn't answer it straight away. He was like, He hesitated for quite long, and then he smiled and he said, I wanted Av3k to win. So you actually don't know what he wanted more, Tox to lose or me to win, you know? That's how I thought about it. Because like he really hesitated, he smiled, and then he said that he wanted me to win more than Tox to lose.
Oh, what are the accuracies that I didn't even see?
Me neither. Wait, let's check. Okay. 20% LG for both.
Standard for Quake 4.
Yep. No,
But
I
look
mean,
at how many frags Cooler Toxic has gotten with the LG. One frag.
And 4 with rockets, which he usually doesn't even use rockets. Like,
I think this was the only game where Toxic had to find out what other weapon binds he actually had.
yeah. He probably was binding mid-game. Okay, so who are the... Okay, so we get Husters, Too Good, Joe. I don't know. This camera. Interesting.
If Too Good and Joe were casting this, we could have probably watched with the casters.
Yeah. It's like more than the game, that the story is like interesting here, basically.
Yeah,
so.
since like this is the first time that like a strategy like this had been like properly used and actually worked, I wonder if the casters managed to pick up on that. Because Too Good was definitely smart enough to understand it, but since it was the first time it was being shown.
Yeah, because like sometimes it can be hard to notice straight away, because we already know about the strategy beforehand, and we kind of can see, like, you know. But you know, I'm also playing against the best player in the whole world, so it's like not all the time I'm able to like pull it off, you know.
Yeah. And it was interesting, like this, even like earlier in the game, the second that you made a mistake and went for the red instead of protecting the LG, it immediately went back to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, like it was much harder to play. He was already dealing damage, I was already low, he killed me, like, you know, it's super hard. Like, see, here the same, like he has weapons, he just like going in, killing. But it already doesn't matter because it's too late, but Also, this hesitation in the beginning, I spawned on the different side of the map, and like I
Yeah.
had a brain lag. I was like, "The fuck I'm gonna do
already
now?
done. It's
Like,
already done.
what am I gonna do
Done.
now?" And
All I had to do was keep him from the LG and he spawns there. Well,
yeah,
damn.
yeah.
Oh, what is this, Av3k? Let's go.
You know I own it. I like my English was good.
You know I own it. Cool is cool, dude.
Oh my god. Okay.
I wonder if someone interviewed Toxjq after this.
Think Toxjq didn't speak too good English either,
Or at all.
or at all. No, like 1 year before that, he said, "Why is it so quiet in the studio?" So,
Yeah.
so he did. Oh my god.
God.
You win.
Yeah.
Just rubbing it in his face instead of saying GG on it. Man, Keith Av3k was VM as hell.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Crazy.
That's one of the most interesting Quake stories I've ever heard, to be honest.
Yeah, see? Okay,
Yeah, the
so first set,
one he did lose on the frantic.
look,
as you
I
said.
lost frantic 16 to 12. Then 32 to 15.
Yeah, kind of insane, the difference.
But look how strong I was on like placebo effect.
Placebo effect was the map that that one where he played Fatality and that had the LG Mega, right?
Like 3
LG
armor,
Mega.
like yeah, like yellow, like red and mega.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy thing. Anyway, that's it for now. I think many people ask me about this story, and like that's all I remember from that. But that was the legit one time where somebody drew a strategy, somebody implemented that in the game, and that actually worked against the best player at that time in Quake 4 ever. So I think that's a cool story.
It's kind of insane. Do you think there is a strategy? For instance, you see, I don't know, say someone has the grand final versus Rafa tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Do you think there is any strategy anyone could come up with right now to beat him? Because Rafa, even right now, Rafa is not as dominant as Toxjq was back then.
Mm-hmm.
And to come up with a strategy to beat the best player in the world just like that, it's kind of wild.
Mm-hmm.
Toxjq was legit unbeatable.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible for anyone to just come up with a strategy to be the best player in the world. It shouldn't be possible, but Cooler did it, and you implemented it.
And I really think that the one of the very few people in the world who can do it is actually Cooler, because like, I don't know. I think he just like thinks about the game a lot, and he thinks about the game in different kind of ways, and he likes to adapt, and like, you know, a lot of those things he cannot do himself, but if he has like a young guy with great aim and like great skills, like if we had somebody like this in Quake Champions who would be struggling against Rafa just by a little bit, I think Cooler like could like put him in the slight advantage by like advising him some things.
Okay,
but as we said,
what Razy needed then.
Yeah, maybe Razy, but then we really need to understand that Quake Champions is like much easier game, and it's like if the game is like really easy, I think it's harder to implement some things out of the box. Yeah. Because you're basically repeating the things, and you got like a guy who is Rafa, for example, who sits on the PC and he repeats it for like 4 hours a day, and then he rewatch it, how he's repeating like those moves, and like he's spotting the mistakes, and then next day he sits again for 4-6 hours, and he just like clicking the same buttons, doing the same moves, like, and he thinks that in the long term, and that's how it works in Quake Champions, that in the long term he's like taking the right decision and it's gonna work.
Yeah.
And then that's why we also had like a lot of a lot of wins from Kilson in Quake Champions, and we didn't have like a lot of victories from him in previous like Quakes. That's why we didn't have like a lot of like wins from like Cooler, Cypher, those kind of players, and they had a lot of success in previous Quakes. That's why also makes like Rafa a little bit special, because like he also had a great success in Quake Live, which I that's why I think like I have a lot of respect for him, because he's not kind of a player who like only was winning Quake Champions. Because honestly, if Rafa, for example, would be losing everything in Quake Live and then came up with Quake Champions, I wouldn't have like as much respect for his wins as I have now, knowing that he was able to like do the same in a much harder game, which was Quake Live back then.
Yeah, he completely adapted
Yeah.
his style. But in Quake Champions, like I say, it's a lot more execution based than actual decision making or actual strategy. And the way that Rafa, practices his execution, yeah, there's not a lot of strategies that you can do against that, because Quake
Yeah.
Champions doesn't really allow for that kind of tactical depth in a lot of ways compared to previous Quakes.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's it. Let us know, guys, what you think. Please thumb up, subscribe to our channel, and like leave some comment, because comments are also like giving us some reach to bigger audience, which we need for this channel to like keep producing some videos for you. And we're gonna come back with some other classics. I think there's a lot of great matches, and I see that you really like to watch like different Quakes, like Quake 4, Quake Live, Quake 3. If you got any idea what was the craziest match ever in like Quake 3, Quake Live, or whatever, like a map, let us know and we're gonna do it for you. I'm also doing my research and I got few good ideas, and we're gonna come back with some more videos. And thank you, Bruno, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. What a great study.